Coach Pitzer, how was the week off?
Week off? No, it wasn't off, trust me.
Bye week.
Friday I was down in Houston, all right, in storms, and Saturday I was in cornfields in Iowa watching a junior college linebacker play. So, without trying to be funny though, it was good. We had some physical practices last week. Got to jump on West Virginia, of course. Fundamentally, we had a good week. You know, that's the time when fundamentally you can work on some things like playing off blocks, tackling, shed and cut blocks. And then schematically doing some things, that we want to try against West Virginia. So it's very productive. Got some people healthy too, so that's always good.
Talk about West Virginia.
Everybody sees the obvious. They've struggled offensively a couple games, but if you look at that Maryland game, they went up and down the field on them, and then all of a sudden they have 6 turnovers. So, it's just one of those days that just wasn't working out. They got weapons. Quarterback can throw the ball. 2 good running backs with Sims and Smith. And Coach Holgerson does a tremendous job of spreading the field and the screen game and the vertical game and the vertical under game. And it's a test on us defensively to defend all that. So we got a big challenge ahead of us. And they're wounded right now, and that's what's scary is they're getting things corrected this week, and I'm sure being back in front of their home crowd, they're going to be ready to play. So it's a big challenge for us.
Glenn, I asked Dana this morning how things change in a matchup when you know the guy on the other side pretty well. Obviously, he was here just 1 year, but you guys got to know him a little bit in practice and scrimmage situations. How does it change it for you when you're approaching somebody you know pretty well?
Well, I don't know if he'll say the same thing. Knowing him, I'm sure he would. It comes down to execution. It comes down to, that they're going to have some new wrinkles for us just to try to, get some things. But at the same time, it comes down to blocking and tackling and catching the ball. And for us, seeing routes and pattern reading and, hitting the right gaps and just fundamentally sound. On our side, you just against really anybody, not just him, but anybody, one mistake and a fit on a gap, and it's a big play. So every play, it's on the line for us. And he does a great job of seeing that through the course of a game. If we're taking away something, I think he's got a great mind in finding something else to attack. So it's fun. I've got a lot of respect for him and what they do offensively, always have, and again, it's a big challenge.
Coach, coming out of non-conference, going into conference, you have a guy or a group of guys you would consider to be the MVP or the MVPs of the defense so far?
We've had a lot of guys stand out. These 2 beside me right here are champions in my book, and they're the heartbeat of what we're doing. But we got some others too. I don't want to single out anybody because it's a collective effort, and sometimes people don't see when one guy makes a great play, what's caused it. Daytawion might make a great play on forcing the ball, and Caleb's there to make the tackle. Well, without him, that doesn't happen. Or Caleb might hit the right gap, and the back sees him and spills out, and Daytawion makes a tackle, but nobody sees that why it all fits together. So it's the cohesiveness of what we're doing and everybody knowing each other's role. And, it all comes down to next week. Nothing what they've done in the past matters. I tell them that every day. And, they think I'm probably too negative all the time. But hopefully after the end of the season, it's going to pay off.
Glenn, what's the key to this program over the last 5 or 6 years being so successful on the road in Big 12 play? What is it about how Gundy prepares the staff and the players, and what just allows you guys to be so successful?
Well, just right off the bat, because without analyzing it too much, I think we do a great job of the consistency of not wavering, and say you come off a loss, a tough loss, of not panicking and thinking you have to change everything, of staying, on a steady course. And these guys know what to expect every week. They know what we're going to do Sunday night. They know how Tuesday practice is going to be. When we travel on the road, they know the routine. They know we're going to go have a walkthrough. They're going to watch film. We're going to study, and we're going to treat it like a business trip. All that being said, it's the reason we've been successful on the road is because our players have played well. these guys have performed. You know, take that all out of it, it comes down to when the lights come on and that first ball is snapped, are they executing? And if anything is to be attributed, I think that's the biggest thing. We've had good players.
Glenn, you've got a huge senior class. Both those guys on either side of you are senior. You got a number of senior starters. You know what to expect out of them, but how much does having those guys grow the younger kids up that much quicker because there are so many older guys in the program involved?
Yeah, I think there's a great deal of success that breeds success type of attitude going on. And these guys beside me and a group of other seniors being good examples. And I think they'll tell you when they were younger, they had some great examples. They had some Markel Martins. They had some Ori Lemons up front. And so I think that's some things you just can't coach. And that's some things that we're benefiting now of having some success when these guys were freshmen and sophomores, of seeing guys do it right, seeing guys make good decisions on and off the field, and hopefully emulating them and say that's the way to get it done. And we're fortunate now with what Coach Gundy's done is you have that installed in a program. You don't have to bring that to life. You don't have to create that. It's there, and we need to just take advantage of every ounce of that. And hopefully there's some, young linebackers and young safeties looking at these two guys and saying that's how you approach a game. That's how you approach a game week. That's how you practice on a Tuesday when you don't feel like it, when you're about to beat somebody's head in for 2 hours and come off with a headache. And that's how you win games. It isn't by talking. It isn't by running your mouth. It's about practice and practice and more practice and then executing on Saturday.
I wonder if both you guys, the players, can address this. You guys know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're an improved defense this season, or would you yourself like to see more evidence?
I think for the most part, I feel like as a unit we're just closer, but I don't feel like we proved nothing yet. I mean, we're just now getting into conference play, so it's still a lot of football to be played, and we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, like D'Lo said, it's kind of a different defense, but we haven't proven anything yet. We've only had 3 games. So, we just need to continue to be humble, because that's the only way we can really improve, is not to get cocky and stay level-headed.
Of the 3 games you've played so far, would you say that one of those games represented what you want to be more defensively than the other 2 games?
The games that we, didn't give up much points, that was, good on the defensive part. But, really, it's just a game-by-game thing. The defense changes, the offense changes, so there's really nothing you can stick to. But, as long as we can continue to, keep points off the board, we should be pretty happy.
Caleb, kind of the same question I asked Glenn is just what's the key to this program being so successful on the road, as far as just how you mentally approach going on the road, and what do you expect out of going to Morgantown, because that is somewhere you guys have never gone before?
I think, like Coach Spencer said, it's kind of routine. It makes it a lot easier, everyone knowing what's going on, and just having that routine to fall back on, but also a lot of the leadership. D'Lo and a lot of the defensive guys and offensive guys, they know how to conduct themselves on the road. And, it's easy to tell people what to do, but, it's another thing to lead by example, and that's what a lot of the guys do. Make it a lot easier for the rest of the team to follow in suit.
Hey, each of you guys, tell me one thing you did over the weekend to get away from football and kind of clear your mind.
I didn't get away from football. I went to the Carl Labor game, so, it was just I was just able to be able to chill and watch football, I guess you can say. So it really wasn't no pressure on getting yelled at the next day.
I just relaxed. I got to swim, which was different, but I tried to watch some of the college games that were on, and I guess I didn't really get too far from football either, but it was good to kind of relax and clear your head a little bit.
Do you guys prefer the bye week, or would you guys rather have been playing this past weekend?
I always want to play when
Yeah.
it comes down to it, but, I mean, it's beneficial. You get extra work in, you get guys healthy, so, I mean, it's well needed.
Anything else for the defensive players over Coach Spencer?
What have you what have you noticed about Childress? You know, they made the switch at quarterback. How much have you watched of him in the 2 games he's played for West Virginia?
It's really they really running the same thing. It's the same kind of scheme. It's just a different quarterback, and I mean both of them can throw the ball. So I mean he can get it to his targets. So really I just focus on being where I'm supposed to be so I can make the play.
Hey Glenn, can you talk a little bit about this West Virginia team compared to last year? Maybe not even compared, but they lost. I mean, they lost NFL guys off of last year's team. And obviously, their offense has changed this year.
Right. I think, you know, I'm sure they're approaching this trying to find some explosive players and getting it in their hands. You know, they've got the number 6, the short kid, who you can tell he's kind of a guy, the jet sweep kind of guy. They're getting their tailbacks the ball a lot. I think they probably consider them a couple of their better athletes. So they're getting them out in receiving formations, which is very tough for us because when you scheme, it's not like you can scheme a 2 backfield set when all of a sudden one of them shifts out and he's another wide receiver. So it challenges you as far as your play call, as far as calling off of personnel. And, you know, a lot of teams like that. They're not the only people that do that, but it creates different challenges when those tailbacks are in multiple positions like they are.
For both the players, you guys still in practice do some good on good each day, but this is a week where that good on good, you know, because there's still a lot of Dana in the offense, it probably comes into play more. Talk about the advantage of those snaps you do get each day where it's one offense, one defense.
It's always good for both sides of the ball just because, you know, it's not like going against a scout team. I mean, you have good competition. And like you said, we're going against a lot of the offensive plays that Dana still uses. So, you know, it's good competition. It's a good pace, and it's a lot faster than what we're used to. So, I mean, having that in the offense that we play against, it gives us a good opportunity to practice as well as, you know, compete.
Lowe, especially in the secondary, I would think that's pretty good with those receivers.
Right. It give us a really like a game tempo. It let us see how the ball's going to come out, how fast it's going to be, how they're going to run their routes, and more crisp routes from our starter and our receivers. So, I mean, it's a big advantage. It gets you ready for the game.
Glenn, you know Dana and Joe a little bit. Mm-hmm. Considering their slow start and what happened to them last week, how do you feel like they're responding over there?
I think they're going to respond great. I think they're going to come out and play the best game that they've played all year. That's the only way I can approach it. And every play, you can give up a big one if you're not ready. So, you know, they're good coaches. And they're, you know, like I say, they've been wounded a little bit, and they're going to come out fighting. And, yeah, it's going to be a dogfight. That's what we're expecting from play one, and I know they'll have them ready. So, you know, it's a big challenge to go out there and do that on the road.
Glenn, Mike said he coached up there again when he was at Maryland. He was at Morgantown. I mean, you've been to Morgantown or not?
I've never been to Morgantown, but I'm assuming that the thing is still 100 yards long and the same width. Do you know the width? You don't.
47?
No.
43?
No.
45? Something like that.
Okay.
53.
Closer. But anyway, it's it's the same, and you know, we have to take all that out of it once kickoff starts. That's the problem, or not the problem, but the challenge is getting the focus ready to all those distractions, their crowd, our travel plans, new stadium. It's irrelevant. What's irrelevant is on that field and what happens when we step across the line.
Is that your best Gene Hackman then?
You got me there, Robert.
You're traveling halfway across the country for a conference game. Is it hard to wrap your head around that, or is that just college football in 2013?
Yeah, I guess so much of us, you get on a plane and, you know, how far is a plane flight? You know, once you get on a plane, you're on a plane, you know, so it's a big difference, you know, an hour or 2 hour flight. We have enough to occupy our time, but that really hasn't come into my mind.
Why have you been able to be more aggressive defensively while not giving up big plays?
You know, again, that aggressiveness word comes out again. We're just doing our stuff, Dave. We're just, you know, we're running our stuff, and, you know, we're just one play away from giving up a big play. So it's all about the next game, and that in the past is so far in the past. All those games, it's, you know, it can happen any snap, it's about execution. And, you know, if we're playing some different techniques at different times, at any time you have the potential to give up a big play. So, you know, these guys got to realize if I'm not in my right gap, if I don't have the proper leverage as a safety, if my eyes aren't right, all of a sudden they're by me, or if you get called on the double move. There's so many things offensively that can create an explosive play. I hopefully, you know, it's all about what we're going to talk about next Monday after this game, if that's the case or not. It's all about the next game. Good?
Anything else?
Okay.